Hello, and today we want to cover another additional function in MySQL. And first of all, we want to see the functions that we are going to cover, which are as follows. We have the CONCAT, which is used in Microsoft Excel in order to join two row of data, wherein maybe we might have the first name and the last name. We want to put them together in order to have the full name. Now we have the left, which return the left end character of a string, and then we have the right, which return the right character of a string, and then we have the upper. The upper converts the case of the particular character that is being given, and also the lower also change the format to the lower case, and the len gives us the count of character that are within that particular column. Now let's dive into it. Here in MySQL, let's first explore our employee salary table. We want to right click and then we say select rows. Here it is showing us the rows. Here we have the first name and the last name, but using the first name and the last name, we want to do what we call concatenation, wherein we want to combine the first name and the last name, which will give us the full name. We said select, and then we said concat, and then we click enter. We said from. We want to specify the table, which is the employee salary table. And then what we want to do within this bracket, we want to clearly state what we want to concat. We said first name. We want to include a space between the name. So what we want to do is to give here this double quote, and then we want to say last name, and then when we execute this one, it has given us the full name of all the employees here. But we want to assign an alias. An alias simply means we want to change the name of this row header. So that's why we normally assign an alias, wherein we will say alias as full name. And then when we highlight and execute this one, it is giving us full name. Here are the full name of the employees. So that's the way to do the concatenation. Concatenation simply means to join two or more rows together. Now, in MySQL, we have joined the first name and the last name using the concat function. So we take this one up, and then we want to use the left. The left actually take the number of characters from the left direction. So what we want to do, we said select the number of character from the left. From which table? We said employee salary. We close it. From which particular column? We said from first name, and then how many characters we want to return. And now how many characters do we want to return is what we are going to state here, which is for the first character starting from the left side of the table. So when we highlight and execute, you see it is giving us the first 4 characters of each first name. So we said, okay, let's say as first name. So you see first name. So these are the first 4 characters that we have just extracted. Now let's do the same for the right. We said select, and when we say right, and then this time around we said our last name. And then how many characters do you want to extract from the last name? We said 3. And what we want to do is to say from which table. We said from the employee salary table. Then when we highlight this one and execute it, we have the first 3 characters of each last name. We assign an alias to change the title of this particular row. We said as last name. We highlight, and then we see it's showing last name. So the next function we want to explore. So this is the way to use the right function. The next function we want to explore is the upper, which change the case of the character. So what we want to do, we said select upper. So we want to change the first name into an uppercase. Maybe sometime we have data which is not properly structured. It's not in a proper form, neither in a lower form or upper form. So what we want to do, we want to rearrange it to a proper form or to an upper form. Now we want to use the upper form. So we said from which table? We said employee salary, and then which column do we want to change? We want to change the first name to an upper form. So when we execute it, you see all of the name here is now in the upper form. The first name is now in the upper form. Looking back at the employee table, you see here it is not in a proper form. It is in a different form when you scroll right through down the data. But now we have changed it here in an upper form. So what we want to do here, we want to change it to a lower form, employee salary. And then what you want to do, we said the last name. This one, let's choose the last name. And then when we choose the last name, when we execute this one, it has shown us all in lower form. So, and then we just have one last function that we want to explore is the length, which gives us the length of the character, wherein it goes back into the table and counts the characters of a particular row. So what we want to do, we said select, let's just type select, and then we said length. It's showing us the length from employee. We said from employee salary table, and then what you want to do, we said length of what? Let's just choose the length of here are the rows, so we want to say length of the occupation. Yeah, so what you want to do is to come with it here. As you see, I can highlight here, and then I click and drag. You see, automatically it's right here. So that's another way to select your rows. If you don't want to directly type it, maybe you want to avoid misspelling or so forth. So when you highlight this one and execute it, you see it is showing us the total count of character that exists in that occupation row. Now let's just see. Here you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here it is showing you that Anne have 5 characters. You see, Anne have 5 characters. The reason why I double click here for it to return it to its normal state, how it was in the table here. So you see, Anne have 5 characters. So this is the way to perform basic function in MySQL.